Welcome athletes, sports fans, coaches, and parents to Overtime, powered by the Goal Podcast. A hard-hitting, off-the-clock companion series diving deeper into the moments that shape athletes, entrepreneurs, and everyday leaders. Unfiltered, unscripted, and beyond the final whistle. This is where the real conversations happen. Today's episode is hosted by Parsons and proudly sponsored by his company, Riker Home Services, where excellence off the field meets integrity at home. Get ready for insights that inspire, stories that stick, and a whole new perspective on what it means to lead in life and in sport.
Hi, welcome to the Goal Podcast. This is the Overtime edition. I'm Ty Parsons. I'm co-owner of Riker Home Services. We emphasize roofing, water and mold restoration, as well as remodeling and rebuild. Attempt to be a one-stop shop in the interior and exterior of the home. I am a former college and professional athlete in Europe. Played high school football at Dallas Christian. Went on, transferred a few times. Graduated from East Texas Baptist University and played a season professionally over in Europe. This is really important to me just because I have a background not only in athletics, but also now in the business world, being an entrepreneur. This specific podcast and topic is important to me because I do have the privilege of coming from a family of athletes, especially two strong female athletes that have been a great example for me and really pushed me to be a better individual and athlete. It really has shaped my view on sports and work ethic and the role of women in sports. So I'm really looking forward to doing this, especially with this being my first podcast. Introducing these two women are both extremely special to me. And this is just really an exciting new venture. All right. First and foremost, at least on my screen, Haley, you're to my right. Haley, you are my big sister. You really, from the moment you started organized sports, had a clear gift. It wasn't until a little bit later in life you kind of found out what sport was probably, the most, really just the best sport for you in terms of your path. But growing up, definitely lived in your shadow. You'll never let me live that down. But You've always pushed me. And then mom, at least on my screen, you're below me. Haley, what did we always hear growing up was about mom's stories. And then every single Christmas Eve when we would go play in the gym at her alma mater, mom had half the records on the track board. So we've definitely grown up in a family of athletics and especially female phenoms, if you will. So really just looking forward to taking a look at this topic and having y'all as our guests on the show. Looking forward to doing this.
Let's do it.
Haley, just in terms of an introduction, obviously Big 12 SEC athlete as well as Southland Conference athlete. We definitely have the transfer gene in our Rolodex. But anyway, set records not only at SFA as a freshman, but went on and was it the DMR that you set a record at A&M, which especially during that time, and I think still competing, not only at the SEC level, but nationally every year as a contender. Mom, you had several high school records as well as competed collegiately now at East Texas A&M or A&M Commerce, as most people know it, as well as had a great career in basketball, amongst other sports. As soon as I was scrolling through potential topics and saw, this topic in regards to women and equality in sports, not only like equality as we think of it, as most people talk about today, but more so our preconceived notions and are we preparing women to succeed in sports versus the male counterparts. I've had a different mentality just from having y'all as an example in the household. So Definitely think y'all bring some interesting things to the table. Really, more than anything, before we get started, Haley, I kind of wanted to, and Mom wanted to bring an example that I guess I think a lot of people have this experience, but it was firsthand. So let's rewind to, I guess it would have been 2020.
2019.
Was it 2019? Okay, that's sorry. Yeah, McKinley was born.
Oh, well, sorry. I was thinking of before she was born. 2020.
Whenever the gender reveal was, right? So
that was in 2019.
Okay. So sometime in 2019, you have your big gender reveal. Find out that the reveal is pink instead of blue. And immediately, without saying it, you could tell Drew needed a few minutes to process everything. You could see kind of the wheels turning. And I think in his mind, he wasn't going to be able to play catch. He wasn't going to be able to play golf. He wasn't going to be able to do those father-son type of events, right? And it was, which is ironic because in terms of athletics, his wife is by far a better athlete than him. So for him to kind of have that in his head is asinine. But it was, a little bit, once y'all gave him a second to process, explain to him that, hey, girls can be just as much or more athletic than boys. And so, and especially with the level that you competed at and Mom, I know you'll get into it, but kind of your background in athletics, it was just funny that that's in society. And like I was saying before we started recording, even today, if I found out that I was going to be having a girl versus a boy, I would still just internally feel a certain way. And that, I think part of that goes to what we're going to be discussing today in terms of preconceived notions, expectations, and things like that. Mom, welcome to the show, or as we affectionately call you, Teton.
Yep.
Really, more than anything, Mom, I just wanted to talk to you. What are some of the things that you've seen in terms of just expectations, or even in your own life where, it seems like boys have a certain standard and girls are held to a different one? I mean, what's something that kind of sticks out in your mind just as an anecdotal experience?
Honestly, growing up with an older brother and living out in the country, I mean, my brother and his friends treated me like one of the guys. In fact, my first grade picture, I have a little spot where I ran my tooth through my lip because my brother always treated me like one of the guys. I mean, in basketball, and I learned to shoot free throws in the game at 21 because I knew if I didn't, I was going to be planted on my bottom. So I feel like, at least back then, I mean, I wasn't really treated any differently. I was treated like one of the guys for the most part. And I tell everyone that my brother is the one who made me the athlete that I was, because it didn't matter what sport. I mean, I can remember in baseball, we'd stand out there and we'd throw back and forth. And I mean, if my brother's goal was for us to catch 100 in a row, then that's what we did. And if we dropped one on 99, then we had to start all over. But I don't know. I just kind of feel like if we hold our girls to those expectations, that they can perform. I mean, obviously there's a difference between girls and boys, but we should have high expectations for our girls.
I agree. And to kind of carry that example a little bit further, the uncle that you're referring to, your brother, is Uncle Keith, and he went on to have a daughter, Ashley, who I think he held a lot of those same standards and worked, tirelessly for years with her. And she went on to have a successful career at a nearby college, Laterno, that played my school, ETBU. And she was definitely undersized as a pitcher, but had a great high school and collegiate career because of, the expectations and in a loving way, the rigidity that he kind of had with you too, and not making an excuse that you were a female versus just another one of the guys. Right.
Right. Absolutely.
Haley, anything to
Hey,
add?
I'll
to that?
chime in.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I mean, of course, like track was my main thing. And I will tell you, I didn't really think that there was anything different about me training as far as I could do what the guys could do, minus the times. Like if the guys are out there running 200s, I can do it too. So I don't think there needs to be a difference in, well, she's a girl, so we're going to do, half of the workout. I think if you set expectations, then girls can do it just as well as the boys.
Yeah. And then, when we kind of did our pre-recording talk or whatever the other night, it was, hey, we understand that physically, pound for pound, the best male athlete is going to be better than the best female athlete at that specific thing. I mean, just look, track is a great example because you have the same measurement on a track, right? The fastest guy is going to be faster than the fastest girl. But in terms of holding the same expectations in terms of training styles, there might have to be some weight changes and things like that. But in terms of the intensity, those don't have to dissipate male versus female. And I think that's really part of what we have seen is, even Mom at the high school level, you'll see some occasional things where coaches, they'll really push weights on boys, right? Football, especially, at least from what I've seen, but certain sports for the girls, they might do a few exercises with dumbbells and then they're out.
Right.
Versus realistically, Haley, when you go to college, you're doing a lot of the same athletic movements that I was at my specific, my respective school. And I think that's just one of the common misconceptions is just the way that you train and you treat people. Like you said, Mom, going back to Uncle Keith, how you're treated as a part of the two different genders. Yeah, we definitely are going to delve into a lot more, but we need to take a quick break. So we're brought to you by these messages. So let's hold on for the next segment.
Greatness doesn't happen alone. Behind every champion, there's a team. Behind every story we tell, there are partners who believe in what sports can build. Like Core Home Fitness, for athletes who never clock out. King's Camo and Sportsman's Warehouse, for those who train hard and live wild. Rocky Boots, rugged, reliable boots for those working, hunting, and farming. And by Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investment needs. A big thank you to these sponsors for fueling the Goal Podcast. To learn more and support our partners, visit our website at thegoalpodcast.com and click on our sponsor page. And now back to the show.
And welcome back. Mom, I'm going to field this question to you first as well. What's the biggest unseen barrier that girls face, not only in youth sports, but I mean, you're at the high school level. Just some of the things that you've seen at the middle school and high school levels in organized sports.
Well, I have several thoughts. I mean, my first thought is a barrier could be the availability. I mean, depending on the size of the school, certain sports might not be available to girls. Another barrier might be perception of the sport. Like some sports that are a little bit more physical, I think some girls might steer clear because they don't want to be seen as a little less feminine. And then another unseen barrier, I think sometimes our parents, and I'm going to give you an example of that. So I coach high school and middle school girls and boys cross country. And last year, I had a little freshman girl who came out for cross country and was just really enjoying it. And then the next week, she didn't show up. And one of her teammates informed me that her parents had said that it was just too early to bring her for practice at 6:30 or 6:45 in the morning. And middle school football boys start arriving at the same time. And I really doubt that they have that problem with being told that it's just too early for practice. So those are my thoughts. And I know, Haley, you might have some more.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of touching on how you were saying, the girl was so excited and her mom said, oh, it's just too early. So as a parent, I'm thinking if you can't support, your daughter's needs, then you're already kind of setting her up for failure in some ways, because you're saying that you're not good enough, or I just don't care enough to take you to practice or push you to be, as much as you can be.
Yeah, and I'll kind of add in with that in terms of, not only supporting, but sometimes in a loving way, like holding them accountable. Most, I would say, teenagers, if they have the option to sleep in, unless they're extremely dedicated or love that sport, are going to sleep in because that's the easy way, right? But sometimes you have to learn that structure and accountability at an early age, and you have to tell your child, this is what you signed up for. This is part of it. When you go to get a job, they're not going to let you sleep in because it's too early. If you have to be there at 7:00, you better be there before 7:00, because it could be the difference in you retaining that job or not.
Right.
And so I think you're just setting up future professional bad habits. To your point, Mom. I mean, it's just a setting a precedent of enablement and lack of accountability. Awesome. Well, let's segue into our next question. Are we overcorrecting with praise, or are we under preparing them for competition?
Okay, I'll go ahead and start with that one. In my opinion, I think that we tend to overpraise a little bit today. And I say that because we know that to be successful, or for a team most teams that are successful and the teams that do come out on top are the ones where the girls are most prepared. They've done that extra work. And I think sometimes as parents or even as coaches, it's easier to give a pat on the back than to state the truth, in that maybe you need to work a little harder, or maybe you need to get in shape. And as cross-country coach, I try every year to encourage the basketball, the soccer, the softball coaches to get the girls to come out for cross-country. Cross-country is not the most glamorous. It's certainly not the most fun sport. I mean, I can remember being in high school and not even really knowing what cross-country was. I was playing volleyball. Well, I wanted to play volleyball at that time, and we had a couple of coaches, and they coached everything. And Miss Salter said, you, and you are going to be my cross-country team this year. And it's like, well, yes, ma'am. And so I ran cross-country, and I played volleyball at the same time. And then as soon as volleyball was done, I started in with basketball. And because of that conditioning that I had from cross country, I mean, there were so many games that we were really close. And, Coach Baker didn't have to take me out. He didn't have to remove me from the game. He knew he could count on me because I was in shape to play that entire game. And I've even been told from some coaches that, well, if we make them run, they'll quit. And I think that's a huge disservice to our athletes, because I think most athletes, if they truly are athletes, if they're doing it, if they're playing because they want to win, they're willing to put in the work. So I think to not encourage them is a real disservice. Haley, I think you had some other things that you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the praise and everything, am I going to praise my 5-year-old on her soccer team? Absolutely. And am I going to, always tell her you did great as she's growing up in competitive sports? No, just because did mom and dad always say you're doing great, like you're crushing it? No, but because sometimes taking constructive criticism can also shape you and want to make you work harder. I think also going into the real world, if you're being told you're doing so good, no, nothing's wrong, like you couldn't fix a thing, that's not really how real life works, especially being in sales roles. I have numbers to hit. It's not always rainbow and butterflies. So I think starting out early with constructive criticism and setting standards, it's just also going to spiral through your whole life too.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm sorry, Mom. I'll just add to that. I mean, especially with y'all excelling and being best at running, right? It's very much an individual driven sport, and it is something that's totally metric based, right? It's on times, it's on splits. You can measure each individual race, how you do. And like Haley said, in the business world, in the sales world, especially, you have what are called KPIs, key performance indicators. That very much segues to, you can say you're doing great all you want, but numbers don't lie. And so if you learn that at an early age, whether it be track or any other sport, right, you do have to have a sense of reality, because if not, it hits pretty hard the older you get. So to find that out at an earlier age, I mean, it definitely, but it also helps you create realistic goals as well. And Mom, I'm sorry to cut you off.
I was just going to add to that. I mean, I do think praise is incredibly important. I mean, but I think there's a time for it. I mean, going back to Haley, I mean, we knew early on that Haley was given this God-given ability to run, and she also had great work ethic. So when she went to a competition, we expected, I mean, we fully expected her to be at the front of the pack or to win. Right. And a lot of the girls that I train today, they don't have that same God-given ability. So I'm honest. They work hard. But I'm really honest. When they finish with a race, I tell them, if you do this, this, and this, then you can improve. And so what I do a lot of times is I keep up with their, from year to year, I'll keep up with their times so that when we go back to the same venue, I can say, look, you ran this last year. This is what you ran this year. You shaved off 15 seconds or so. And if you really want to see a big improvement, then you need to run beyond cross country. You've gotten a little bit of a background. You've gotten into shape. Keep running. So, I think being honest is important too. But I am proud of them when they make that improvement, even though it's not the same. I mean, Haley was running 5-minute miles. Some of my girls are running 8-minute miles, but I'm still proud of their effort and their improvements, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's all relative. Everybody has a spot. Everybody has a role to play. If everybody was the superstar, you really wouldn't enjoy sports, right? You still have winners and losers, and you have role players and all stars. But if you can contribute, then you can find a place on a team. It's kind of the old adage, but there's so many things that you can't control, but you can control, your effort.
Mm-hmm.
Haley, I'm going to field this next one to you. And this is kind of a broad one, but I think you can really grab it by the reins. And this, just for the sake of time, this might be something we have to break up between segments, so don't feel rushed, okay? What does genuine empowerment through sports look like for women?
I mean, for me personally, I think I would feel empowered when I would win a race, or, looking back and saying, okay, wow, this training was worth it because I just won. I feel, really good about myself. So I think having your hard work pay off is how I view empowerment. Obviously, it can be different for everyone and what goals you have. But just for me specifically, winning a race, seeing all my hard work pay off, is very empowering.
I'm going to add to that too. I think that success builds confidence.
Absolutely.
And confidence. Well, of course, the harder you work, the more success you're going to have. And that confidence plays over in every aspect of your life, whether it's in school and you feel better, you look better. I think it just all works together.
Yeah. I mean, for guys and girls, the one thing that I think we can all agree on is that sports builds a sense of perseverance, which segues to all aspects of life, right? Whether it be Mom and Haley, parenthood, we know that's a journey. Whether it be your professional life, obviously your personal life, right? How many hurdles do you experience just in terms of relationships or the day-to-day, right? So more than anything, I think whether you excel or you barely made the team, sports is a grade A life lesson on perseverance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree.
And that's where, there again, if we're holding women to the same standard of men in sports, that's really what you're pushing for, is for them to learn that not everything's going to be fair. You're not always going to win, right? Even if you have God-given ability like you, Haley, like you unfortunately didn't win every race. And so sometimes you need to learn, okay, well, I've got to open up my stride. I've got to get in a little bit better condition for that back 200 on the 800, whatever it is, right? Part of it is learning.
And I think also that ties into on how you're raised. So like some people can lose or fail and be like, that's it, done, game over.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be good at this. So I think how you choose to raise your children too can either set them up for success or lead them to failure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll wrap that question up, or this segment up with, Haley, that's something you and I both learned at an early age. One of the things that Mom taught us was, bad things happen to good people, and it's how you respond. Right. And so, to your point, if we didn't have Mom and Dad, anything that happened bad in our life might have spiraled us out of control if we didn't have that home base and that ethos of, you have to persevere regardless of what happens to you, because you're constantly going to be throwing curveballs,
I mean, in sports, in life. Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go ahead. I think this is actually a good time right here to wrap this segment up, and we'll send it off to our sponsors again.
Greatness doesn't happen alone. Behind every champion, there's a team. Behind every story we tell, there are partners who believe in what sports can build. Like Pine Meadow Golf, custom-built golf clubs, factory direct to you. King's Camo and Sportsman's Warehouse, for those who train hard and live wild. Jocko Fuel Protein and Supplements. Hard work, clean fuel, no excuses. And by Riker Home Services, your trusted partner for expert repairs and lasting peace of mind. A big thank you to these sponsors for fueling the Goal Podcast. To learn more and support our partners, visit our website at thegoalpodcast.com and click on our sponsor page. And now back to the show.
Feel like we're really kind of getting in our zone now. Haley, you're throwing some heaters, so I'm gonna throw this to you. How do we coach girls differently without reinforcing the wrong narratives, or do we?
I don't think you coach girls differently. I think, like I mentioned earlier, girls can do the same workouts, just you have to adjust, obviously time, weight. But I think by saying, we need to take it a little bit easier just because they're girls is kind of already setting you up to expect less of yourself than you would a boy. So
Right.
I think you don't coach them differently. I think you just adjust, like I mentioned, the different variatives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to second that. I know, like with my cross country workouts, I mean, I have a workout that my girls and my boys do, and then I break it down as far as like times. But I'm in the past. I mean, I've had like I might have a 6-minute group, a 7-minute group, an 8-minute group, a 9-minute group, and there can be girls and boys running the same workout. So it's all based on their ability. I don't say, okay, this is the boys' workout, this is the girls' workout. I mean, Haley would have been running with my top guys, but yeah, I think it's to recognize that there are definite differences between girls and boys, but hold high expectations, because just like in the classroom, those girls are going to rise to your expectations if you set them high enough. And I think, like I said before, it's our job as parents and coaches to help them be their best. I mean, whether that's an extra weight workout, talking to them about nutrition, whatever it is, it's our job to help them be the best they can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I know we kind of touched on some of this earlier. I think the sooner that you get to the conclusion that if you push them equally, you're going to find that the cream rises to the top, and there's a lot of girls that can respond to the challenge, versus treating them with kid gloves. All right. As we're wrapping up with some of our questions, Haley, I'm going to field this last question to you. Just as we've kind of talked about as a whole, I want you to kind of bring it home with what would your advice be to parents and coaches that are raising confident female athletes?
Yeah, I think my advice and what I'm going to, hopefully do with my own girls is give them, praise when they need it, as we talked about, but also establish that you're going to have failures. It's okay to, fail sometimes, but that builds character. If you get back up and continue going, then it's going to just teach you hard work and be able to adapt to most situations that are thrown at you, whether it be in middle school, high school, college, and beyond.
Yeah, and then I'll kind of piggyback off of that. I mean, luckily for me, the Lord blessed me to be good at football and not track, because that would have been miserable for me. But I think you do have to, whether it be guy or girl, I think you have to still remember that these are games. The broader point is competition and perseverance and things that we've already talked about, but you can't take the fun out of what you're training for. I think if you emphasize or frame it as a job, you're going to suck the life and the soul out of that kid. If they're blessed, you continue to push them, and hold them accountable. But if you treat it like a job and you don't also find ways, even within running or whatever it may be, to have, quote, fun, Haley, you'll have to inform me how you have fun. I think they do have fun runs, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't find ways to have fun, I think that's truly where you cripple the growth and the long-term success of an athlete. Mom, I'll go ahead and kick it over to you for any input here for advice.
Okay, well, I'm thinking I'm thinking of as when I was an athlete, when I was a young girl. The one thing that my mom did for me is that she let me try everything, and whatever was available, I tried. I mean, I can remember I was on 3 softball teams during the summer, and mom went to every tournament. She took me to every practice. Basketball, loved basketball. I was in free throw contest, and I can't tell you the number of days that I stayed after school or went on weekends and shot free throw after free throw after free throw. And mom would stand there and rebound for me for cross country. If I was doing an extra practice on my own, she was on a bicycle. And I can remember we had this one hill down our road, and it was really hard for her to go up, and I would have to push her up the hill. But she rode that bicycle. In track, we didn't have a track at our high school, and I had to drive to actually it was a rivalry school, but I drove to their track to train, and she would go there and time me. And it didn't matter what sport, she was there for me. And I tried to do the same thing, with both of you. I mean, I can remember running with Haley and just thinking, oh my gosh, if I can just keep her within my sights. I mean, it was really hard. There were a lot of times I thought I might die because I couldn't breathe, but just because I wanted to be there for her. I mean, but that was whatever sport. I mean, we let her try softball and the cheer thing and whatever it was. I think it's important to be there for your kids. And while I loved watching you play football, and that was a highlight for me, and track is not always exciting. It was for me because I loved watching Haley. But my point is, whatever your daughter's doing, make it important. I mean, be there for her, and just hold those expectations high. Like I said at the beginning, my brother treated me like one of the guys, and he never told me I wasn't good enough to play. And I think that made me want to work harder, just to show him that I was good enough to hang with the guys. So, I mean, that would be my advice. Just have high expectations and be there for your kids, and, give them encouragement where it's due, but be honest. I mean, if your daughter needs to get in better shape, then encourage her to do that. I mean, whether it's by me. I did. I'm sorry. Sometimes a little too much.
Maybe
stronger, right? But hey, one thing I am going to add, I'm going to brag on Haley. I mean, talking about when times get tough. I mean, I can remember at Stephen F. Austin and y'all being at the championship, and your baton got knocked out, and y'all went from setting a school record to not placing at all. And I know that was devastating, and most girls, or most guys too, probably for that matter, would say, I'm done. But she turned around the next day and set the indoor mile record. So that's a perfect example of, some things don't always go your way, but you shake that dust off and you get back up and you show what you're made of. So anyway, hope that helps.
Well, I think kudos to you too, Mom, because obviously, y'all pushed me and gave me the skill sets and took me to all the trainings. So I think taking that and doing that for my own girls, it's hopefully like a generational type of character building. So just being able to, me wanting to be there for my girls in the same way that you and Dad were there for me and provided for me. That's also some advice to everyone, just to, like you said, show up for your kids, even when you don't want to.
I want to add on that too, because I know we talked about it the other night and want to make sure that it got in here. One of the things, Haley, you would have to do some early morning runs.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of parenting, Dad's built like me, and there's no shot that he would keep up with you, but he did utilize his vehicle to keep up with you. But a high school girl running in the dark in a vehicle slowly following, doesn't always have the best appearance. And so he actually was stopped by a cop one time and had to explain the situation. But luckily, there was nothing nefarious going on. So it just reinforces, Mom, what you were talking about in terms of you and Dad being there for us. I mean, there's not too many parents that would take them to all the practices or trainings, let alone get up at 5:30 to follow, just to make sure that their child is performing at a certain level, and on top of that, I just think that it really goes back to one of the things that y'all did for us early on was the importance of writing down your goals. Not that we always hit our goals, but I know for me, in terms of my respective sport, every single offseason, the moment that sport was done and we were going into offseason, I was writing down my goals for the next year. And more often than not, I hit those specific goals because y'all trained me to write them down. And so putting down those metric-based goals, you really can put those in perspective and achieve them, given enough time and based in reality, like we've said.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good time to go ahead and end this segment and send it over to one of our sponsors.
Greatness doesn't happen alone. Behind every champion, there's a team. Behind every story we tell, there are partners who believe in what sports can build. Like Pine Meadow Golf, custom-built golf clubs, factory direct to you. King's Camo and Sportsman's Warehouse, for those who train hard and live wild. Jocko Fuel Protein and Supplements. Hard work, clean fuel, no excuses. And by Riker Home Services, your trusted partner for expert repairs and lasting peace of mind. A big thank you to these sponsors for fueling the Goal Podcast. To learn more and support our partners, visit our website at thegoalpodcast.com and click on our sponsor page. And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back. Mom, Haley, really something that I just wanted to kind of emphasize here is that, even though y'all have very similar gifts and skill sets, obviously y'all went about some different career paths, made some different choices, but wanted y'all to bring it home in regards to how sports motivated you and molded you to the type of person that you are today.
Yeah, I mean, I think to kind of tie it all together as well, no matter what type of sport you're in, I think they can all teach you that if you work hard, you'll be able to succeed at most things in life. Like we said, obviously you're going to have failure, but being in sports, I mean, it teaches you character, it teaches you work ethic, it teaches you resilience. So I think just kind of off of that, I've learned how to, deal with failures, talk to people, still want to be, involved in different athletics. So I think, just no matter what sport, as long as you do assert yourself and have some work ethic, that it teaches you to overcome a few things.
Thinking back, it doesn't matter whether it's a girl or a boy. It doesn't matter which gender. I think from sports, you build character. You learn camaraderie. You learn just so many great life lessons. I mean, basically, for example, I'll use cross country again. I mean, getting up in the morning is not always easy, but as a parent, you might have to be up in the middle of the night, or there's always something that's going to come up. But because of sports and those hard workouts, you show up for your coworkers, because you showed up for your teammates all of those years. But I just think there's really no substitution for the life lessons that you learn in sports, whether you're a girl or a boy. All right, Ty, I'll let you wrap up with any thoughts you have.
Thanks for giving me permission, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, I definitely want to thank both of y'all. Besides birthing me, you still do a lot for me, even in the business world, Mom. You make a lot of things possible that would be extremely difficult otherwise. You continue to exude that team player role, obviously, that sports taught you. And obviously had some phenomenal input. Haley, thank you so much for, one, getting outside of your comfort zone. I know you were a little hesitant to do this at first, but you have so much knowledge and experience and just a bevy of accomplishments too. I think there's a lot of times where you've been very humble about your accomplishments. But not too many people say that they've had a Big 12 or an SEC athlete in their family. So, I've always looked up to you, and really you were the thing that the person that pushed me the most, whether you knew it or not. You had big shoes and a big shadow that you casted. And so that motivated me to push, and I appreciate it, whether you knew that or not. So, besides putting up with me for all these years, I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think this has been awesome for this to be the first one of many. I couldn't have asked for two better guests. So thank you all for that. This is awesome. We will be okay. Wow. That was exciting. We will be back next month with a different topic and a different guest. This is Ty Parsons, Overtime with Ty Parsons, powered by The Goal. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Overtime, powered by The Goal podcast. Whether you're on the field, in the boardroom, or navigating everyday life, remember, success isn't just about the scoreboard. It's about growth, grit, and doing the work when no one's watching. If today's conversation moved you, challenged you, or made you think, do us a favor, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on social to stay updated on future episodes and behind-the-scenes content. Until next time, keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep chasing the goal.